Welcome back to another episode of the FNtasia podcast. We have one of our loyal viewers here once again making a return to the show. We have Queasy in the building. It's a pleasure to have you here. We got Teddy as well alongside me. Teddy's just taking over. We got to give Teddy his props. He's taking over. Of course. You know, we always have to have like one ginger person. That's like the quota every episode at least. Do you know what I'm saying? So Harry ain't here, then Teddy steps up. Makes sense. But Queasy, man, good to have you again on the show. How you doing? How you been lately, brother?
I'm chilling. Always good to be here, talk a little bit, have some fun, and yeah.
I love how you always start these very respectful, and over time we end up getting you to start talking shit a bit. You know, we gotta get you warmed up a bit. Obviously, you know, as we're recording this, you just won the first divisional cup of the season, which has got to feel good, you know, first important tourney, because we've had scrims, we've had, you know, the eval, you know, we had opens and whatnot, but like this is the first one that really matters. Good feeling, good win. How are you feeling about the performance on the weekend?
I mean, I didn't think we performed that good, but I feel like we figured some stuff out on accident that I'm not gonna leak, but like I think we figured out the meta way better than other people did, and like we should have like broke the record this divisional cup. I think like we had like two kind of dudded games, and even with like the first four games, the zones were like I was literally calling to my teammates. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like I genuinely don't know how to IGL this. Like I have no idea how to rotate these zones. And then as we went, we kind of figured it out. So yeah, like it's gonna be interesting for the next one as well.
When you approach a new season, how much do you balance like learning the meta versus showing you're like trying to win the divisional cups every single week, you know, versus the process of discovery of you know, how to play the season?
Yeah, I mean, I went into this divisional cup with like I didn't prep anything. Like it was like his first one. I'm just last level. Like yeah. No, I'm being exactly like I always tell to my teammates like we're getting ready for grands. Like all these divisional cups are just practice. Like we're gonna use them. Like yeah. But as I was saying, like basically we go into these divisional cups like just learning the meta, learning whatever, because you can't really like it's no mobility now, so it's completely different than what it was last season because you could just force through everyone with masks, but now like you just have to figure out how it works and how it looks. So first one you kind of just use it as a learning curve.
That makes sense. Are you enjoying the new season then, right? You've played enough of it, I feel like, to figure out, you know, when you're comparing it to last season, are you excited going into these tournaments and the meta?
When Mammoth was in the game, me and Swizzy were both very annoyed. Like we didn't like it. But now, even like after the cup, Swizzy was like going like, "Oh my god, I love this season. It's so fun. Like, oh my god, it's so good."
Wait, hold on a minute. I think you said you and Swizzy. So what was Mustache still loving it even in Mammoth meta?
Oh no, nah, Mustache is just like Mustache is just in school. He's going to parties. He's like just chilling. You know, he's there for a ride. But like Mustache was like he's kind of non-grinding right now. But then he goes into finals. He just puts like prime numbers, you know, he just goes crazy in finals. So I'm not worried about him at all, you know.
Makes sense.
How are you feeling about the trio this season? Like, what do you like about these teammates versus past teammates you've had?
I mean, we just have a lot of fun. Like they're fun to play with. They're especially like all my past teammates have kind of been like more scared. I like that like this trio particularly like isn't scared to do anything. Like if I will say like literally we're just gonna go crank up on height right now, they're like yeah let's go, you know. Like before with all the other teammates, it was like should we really do that? Should we really do not? They're like go crank.
Yeah.
Like W key this, W key that. It's like doesn't matter. Like whatever I say they'll do. So it's like it's perfect.
Yeah, you guys obviously did incredibly well last season, especially considering you conned all the games. And you know, in your first season playing with each other, I can imagine that must have been like a bit of a hard thing to have to sort of deal with. But I feel like knowing those two, they're probably like two of the best people you could have been in that situation with, like in terms of their personalities and that. In terms of like just the vibe, obviously both of those guys are like Russian speaking and like, you know, they got a bit of chemistry because they played each other before, blah, 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 same with friend groups and whatnot. Have you found fitting into that, like the friend group, the vibe? Because I know how important the vibes are for you, right? I've seen your teammates in the past and I've been around, and the vibes are important. So do you feel like you have that in comparison to some of your other teams?
I mean, I definitely think our vibes are really good, but like we try not to overplay as well with each other, so we keep that good good vibe. Like always when we get in before the tournament, we play like 1v2, we just scream with each other and have fun, you know.
Yeah.
So before every tournament, we basically do that now. And yeah, going into cups, like especially like last grand finals, we all like even like the 2-off spawns that we lost or something like that, we were like, it don't matter. Like we just go next. Like we're just gonna win next game. Like it is what it is. We knew this was gonna happen going into grands. Like we said before grands, like if we win like 7 or 8 and we win all of them, there's a chance we can win grands. And then we went like 10, but obviously didn't win. But
well, you had a chance in game 12 to steal the tournament. It was a pretty insane performance, all things considered. Who's
sorry,
did I rub it in there, Queasy? My bad. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
It's not like he was trying to insinuate something there. The smile you had was funny right there.
No,
only needed 5 more kills, no win there, or 7 more kills, no win there. I think.
Yeah, 100%. That was pure compliment. It would have been trios conned. Winning an FNCS would be like one of the greatest accomplishments ever.
Mm-hmm, it would.
Who are the teams that scare you the most right now? Maybe you can do EU and then globally.
Camiseti Cherry.
Really?
Easily. I think Camiseti Cherry they're doing their like sneak gimmick again. Like they're just there. They're like quiet. They're playing all the scrims. They're like no mobility meta. They're doing all their stuff. They got their invitational balloon strat right now with Brutal. Like there's a pad on top of the hill. They're like stacking up heals, getting captures, and padding around and doing like all that stuff. So, and we've seen Divisional Cup. Well, they were conned for these 2 games. I don't know how they're not conned though. Like they should be conned. Like they're not that good off spawn.
I think they were like they got conned.
They were
like
conned 2 games.
Yeah,
and they died. They died off spawn. So like, and then they got unconned for the other 4, and they like got top 5 in all of them. So like, if they're unconned somehow if they're unconned, I don't know how. Like they're gonna be.
You're gonna start coaching people to land on them or something?
Oh, no, I'm not Cammy. Like what? I don't do that stuff. Like come on, I'm not Cammy.
So if they start doing too well, we're gonna see Queasy posting on Twitter in French.
No. Look. I said I'm focusing on myself. Like I don't really care about what other people do because like I was watching last season and all the other seasons, people focused so much on other teams and they were dudding. Yeah. Like Veno's team was so obsessed with everyone else, I feel like, to the point where they underperformed so hard last season. And I think they're gonna even underperform even more this season just because of the meta. So I do think they're contenders to win, obviously, but I think Camiseti and maybe Malibuca's trio right now are above them. And then Cami, or what's it called? Benovico Flixi. And then, of course, I think we're first. I think those 3 teams, of course.
I want to get to one of those teams more in detail, but when you talk about Camiseti and Chari, obviously, you know, I don't know if you saw on the pod when we talked about them a bit at the end of last season, right? And it's interesting because they obviously have, even last season, you look at how they performed throughout the season and they had really good results, even when they were conned at times, right? Like they looked really good.
Yeah.
But, you know, when it got to grands being conned, it just didn't quite click. Do you think when you look at that situation where, you know, Cami and Seti in particular, I think a lot of people actually misunderstood what Harry was trying to say and what, you know, we were all trying to say, in that it's not that these guys aren't good anymore. Like you can't watch them. If you understand Fortnite, you can't watch these guys and say they're not good. That's, of course, it's not the case. But they've had a pretty long stretch of grands now where, like, for whatever reason, it just hasn't clicked.
Yeah.
And they've not had the right results. If you were in their situation, like, do you think you would have probably split from your teammates, even though things work. But then when it comes to grands, it just doesn't quite connect. Like, what do you think of their situation?
I mean, it was duos last season. So I think after globals, if it kept being duos, they 100% would have split, 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
But it ended up being trios, and I don't know what, but like they probably thought like, oh, it's trios, like it's our season, which it is true. Like
They were the best.
yeah,
you know?
yeah. So like, I think they're just like confident, and Cherry like placing in all the solos now as well. He's probably insane. I don't know. I haven't watched him that much, but yeah, I think they haven't thought about splitting, at least in trios. Like, I think what if they're ever con, they're always gonna dud just because like their history, like
Yeah.
like they just don't perform well contested. Like they perform well contested by an Asia team. Like that's
Yeah.
about it, and that wasn't even like all that because they had forecasts like every game, you know. But yeah, I think if they get Uncon brutal this season, no mobility meta, I think they're gonna be hard to compete.
I like that because I think a lot of people probably don't know just quite how to rate them, and still a lot of people will be concerned that going into grands they'll probably be conned. The team that most people I think would think is your biggest competition, obviously, is Vico Veno Flexi. I know at the end of last season there was a bit of a weird drama. I'll just say it. They were a bit weird to you guys in the final game.
Right.
They were spam inviting you when you were trying to play on height because obviously you were the only team left in the game that could steal the win from them. Have you guys made up since then, or is there still a bit of animosity there?
Oh no, I don't. I'm not. I did not fucking forgive that shit. Hell nah. Like Lexi was also being weird to Trulex in that solo markup. Like that kid is just weird. Just weird. I'm not gonna. Like with Veno, I never had problems. Like I know Veno wasn't the one doing it as well, but like
he wasn't. Yeah.
But like he's with that group now. He associates with them, so like it's just like.
Well, I mean, it's his team. It's his team. Of course he is.
Yeah, but
it's his teammates.
Yeah, but also like let's say Mercic and Swizzy, they were being weird to Thomas because Thomas like camped him as well, and I went to Thomas and I apologized. I said like like I stand behind my teammates at least, and I feel like everyone does, and like if he's associating with them, then
interesting. I can't see you guys not on this. I'm gonna have to get in there and do some counseling and get you guys back on good terms.
I think we're fine. We're in good terms.
But you're worried about their potential as a team this season? Like, you don't think they're maybe as cut out to do, or clearly as cut out to do as well as people might think?
Okay, listen, I'm like Veno's gonna probably watch this and he's gonna take it the wrong way, but I think they need a hard IGL. Like from what I've watched, their eval games, they're struggling. Like they're struggling really bad. Their mid games are fucking ass, and I don't know about end games. Like they've been trying to play this hide early thing, and they're not doing it right. And when they play, I don't know. I just haven't seen much from them.
Do you think, and maybe you can tie it back into your critiques of that team, do you think there's a clear cut meta emerging like last season, carry the Oni mask, or is it a little bit more varied this season? How do you think
it's varied? I think there's a lot of stuff to do this season. I obviously want to like try to like not expose it, but like I think I'm slowly figuring out the meta. Definitely more stuff to learn, but like we're just gonna full send high at least in end games and stuff like that. I think that's definitely the meta. I think other teams do it as well. Like almost every game we're fighting like Shark Duo in Chap and Vanyak Pixie and Marius. They're all like playing full height, and now Vano's trying to do it as well. So I feel like a lot of teams are hitting on the height gimmick, and then you got little Cammy on the low ground right now, just full tarping, getting refreshes, getting like top threes. So it's gonna be interesting,
Yeah, no, EU is shaping up to be very interesting this season for sure. Potentially even closer than it was last season. But it's not just EU we got to talk about. We got to talk about NA because, you guys are going to be a team that we're going to see at Globals, right? And that's the standards, that's the expectation. You obviously did incredibly well at Globals last year, and you went up against, Titans in Peter Bottom Pollo. And with how things are looking so far in NA, you're probably gonna have to go up against those guys again. Have you been watching much NA? What do you think about the competition so far there? And obviously Pete, Cold, and Poyo winning the first Div Cup. If you watched it, like, what are your thoughts there?
Okay, here's my thought process on it, because like I saw the tweet from Pete and I was like, he tweeted first place. People thought I couldn't IGL,
Yeah.
but like on a real note, he's not IGLing. He's just running it down, getting the train coin, getting the car, keying a team, getting cap surge, and then just running in and killing more people. Like it's just Peterbot. He doesn't need to IGL.
Right.
Like
It's
he's
like
just
when
going down.
Acorn
Like
said, it's like when Acorn said you didn't have to IGL, you had forecast. It's like he has things this season where he
exactly.
doesn't.
I mean, it's just Peterbot. It's not even like things. It's not. He's not getting gifted by loot. You know, he's just better than people. So he's just running it
Right.
down, and like especially having that coin mark you on the map nowadays. I literally saw like he would literally go around looking entire like Crime City left side. He would go around looking for teams. It would be nobody at all anywhere, and then one team would pop up. They would full key fight in the open. No one is around them. Two of them could get knocked. Peterbot could be left alone. They wouldn't get third party. Like
Right.
they would literally just have it all. And then end game is like, I mean, end game is end game. Like they're just playing. I think they're playing mid. I don't know why they're not just full sending height on NA. Like if they really want to win everything by like record points, they should literally just claim height on the region. You know? But I think they're just literally running down mid ground, pre-editing, fighting teams like better than them, you know. So come to globals, especially if contracts are not signed. I think we'll have the stronger hand, especially because it's gonna be I think this is gonna be the most difficult global so far. I feel like
I'd agree. Yeah.
because like the just sheer amount of good teams and trios, and there being 33 teams, not 50. I
Yeah.
feel like it's just gonna be crazy. I don't know.
We've never had a major trio LAN, have we?
Yeah, we
This
haven't.
will be the first one and the most stacked trio lobby
Yeah.
ever. You know, like, it's gonna be insane.
Who are some of the other trios that catch your eye?
I saw,
From
I saw
NA?
you picking up Iomzo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if Iomzo had a better mid game plan and went into end game with more mats, like they would probably beat Peterbot. Like at least they're like people are saying they're not like they don't have frag potential, like that's why they're not winning, but that's just not true because they're getting like if they play how they play, staying on each other, like they have literally perfect synergy. I literally watch Iomzo's always like RPing full. Batman Booga's on him. Clicks is a little bit behind. They're always on each other, like looking for refreshes. They got the mythic AR, everything, you know. They're playing like the end game's perfect. So I feel like if their mid game is a bit better and they do the same exact end games, they could literally just win six out of 6 games on NA.
Well, that's what it's gonna take, right? Realistically,
Yeah.
if they're not able to get all those kills to catch up, like they would have to just be that consistent where they're winning every game. But you believe they can do it?
I do. I think they can do it. Like from what I've seen, if like I said, if they improve their mid game, I think they're way better than any other team in end game. Like even us, like I feel like their mid game, like it's just perfect. Like how they stick on each other and what they do. They even got like I was watching, they got comms like in and out, like BloodX is cooking there low key, like no. But like I saw them, they're like getting they need a refresh. They would kill a team. They would all three of them would literally come in and out same time, and they would just run through it, like get the body and run out the other way. And I'm like, fuck, why they got that synergy? Like, come on, no glazing, but like that was clean, you know.
Hey, look, Raz had a good year last year. I think a lot of people are sleeping on BloodX is hungry now. You know, he's got that. He's got the passion needed to get a team to the win. So. No, we'll see what this can do. Like I said, he said, is there anyone else on your radar, EU or NA, any underrated teams you look at? Like, oh, they got some good potential.
I mean, EU maybe like Pix and Demush, you know,
Yeah,
they're underdogs, and I don't know who else other than those team. Maybe Pixie Vanyak, but like I think out high ground they're kind of mid, and I think them on high ground. So come to grands, I think they're not gonna. I mean, they're gonna get like top 5, top 6 probably. And NA, I mean, not really. It's just Peterbot and Clicks and NA. I think they're good. and Acorns trio, I guess. Like they did pretty good, well conned. So those three, I think.
Yeah. When you look at how Vidil and them have done moving over, do you reckon like going? I know you're obviously very confident. I kind of know your answer going is here, but with how you've seen Vidil do, you know, when you look at like top players in EU going over to NA, is that something that like do you think it's actually a step harder, like what people maybe saw last year when some of the teams struggled, or do you think a lot more of those teams would just find it, you know, easy or hard? Like where do you sort of rate it there?
Oh, it's easier. I think if you move from EU to NA, and like, well, I feel like top two is probably like set. If you're like a video type player, Yapko type player,
Right.
from EU and you move to NA, I think you cannot really get top two. I mean, Video was getting a lot of top twos last season, no?
Yeah, they
So
got a lot
yeah,
of top twos, yeah.
but I think top one and top two this season is probably always going to be Clicks and then Peter. And then like if you're not getting top five, you're kind of like
Yeah,
I don't
they're
know what
cooked.
you're doing.
Wow.
This top five, I think, is pretty easy. Like top five to top three, I think if you're not getting that in NA, you're kind of I don't know, kind of ass. Like
That's the headline.
yeah, that's it. That's gonna be it.
Put that in the thumbnail, 11.
Oh gosh.
Can I ask Queasy about Acorn? Because I feel like Acorn's the like veteran IGL of NA. Do you steal anything from him? Do you? I just wanted to ask like what your kind of thoughts of how he approaches the game, how he plays the game, anything.
I'm not gonna lie, I've not watched anything from Acorn. I don't really watch NA overall at all. Just because I think it's completely different game. I genuinely do think it's like completely different. I think every good team on NA like kills at least one team before endgame, and then they play for like they just have Surge. In EU, it's like everyone's playing Surge tags. Maybe besides like Veno, Vico, Flixie, but like I think like 99% of the teams are playing all Surge tags, and NA is like they're all just like fighting or like milking one team. And I do think it's a completely different game. So I think Acorn is probably the second best IGL after me of all time. Even though like I haven't really watched him this season or last season, but yeah, I've always known that. Yeah, it's just yeah exactly.
It's funny because I was gonna say you don't really watch NA now. Now that Dukes ain't playing, you ain't got no reason to be watching NA.
Exactly.
That's your boy.
I got no one to play with.
Yeah, no one to queue up with for NA.
Yeah.
Obviously, you mentioned like, you know, you said it yourself, you're the best IGL of all time, right? Nice self-confidence there. But obviously, that's what everyone I think in the community would agree on. Going into this year, with it being the first major, trio LAN we're gonna have, you obviously had success in trios in the past. You won with Trilux and Juriki. One of my favorite FNCS wins of all time. Are you looking at it differently going into the LAN? Like, are there things that you think are going to be massively different because of it being trios instead of duos? Or do you think it's just the same old story? Just Fortnite's Fortnite, whether there's a trio or a duo, it don't really matter.
I mean, I kind of go like in the moment. Like, I'll think about LAN when I get there.
Right.
Like right now, I'm thinking about winning this season, and that's about it. LAN is just gonna be like good vibes, good mentality. Like knowing that we're like contenders to win, is always good. So yeah, I mean, we just gotta play our game there, and that's it. Prep before it.
You touched on this in your last answer. What do you think the state is of the EU NA rivalry right now? What would be your view on it? Your very unbiased view, I would imagine.
I mean, I think it's like Peterbot above EU, and then entire EU, and then like rest of NA maybe like under Brazil or something. Like, no, I'm joking, but like it's like people saying NA better. Yeah, it's just Peterbot.
I mean, the problem is that they have like every NA fan goes, yeah, but we won the last two. We won. That's it. We got the dub, and I'm like, yes, but then when you look at the rest of the top 5 or top 6 or top 7 in some cases, like it's just all EU. You know, you had like the one team that won, but everyone else is EU in the
Hey,
top on leaderboard.
I started just doing like the Peter Boss like ethnically from like Hungary, you know.
Yeah, he's
So like
Hungarian.
he's part of EU. He's from Balkan. We claim him in the Balkan court. Like we got Balkan first, Balkan second, Balkan third in globals. Like what? Like come on.
It's funny though, because I think seriously when I look at it, it's interesting to me because I think at the top level, you know, when you look at the best NA players and the best NA teams, so like in NA, it's like those top that top like 6 or top 7 in most seasons, right? Like all of those guys are unbelievable players. They're all players who would be considered still top players if they're in EU, right? The biggest problem is that like NA is just very top heavy. Like it's a lot more top heavy than EU, which is why like you mentioned earlier about how it's a whole different game. You're right. It is a whole different game because the top NA teams can just run it down on some like absolute plebs. Whereas like in EU, the absolute plebs aren't really in the lobby, right? Like the teams around you are also like really, really good players. It's like a lot more sort of even across the board, which definitely like helps in terms of that is part of why I reckon, you know, a lot of that EU leaderboard, a lot of the globals leaderboard has so much EU players near the top. It's not just because it's more EU teams, it's because those EU players are more accustomed to the stacked lobbies, right? But yeah, for the EU versus NA fans, I don't think the rivalry, like it's people are gonna keep talking no matter what. Do you know what I mean? I think all we can do as EU fans is just acknowledge that you got Peter Butt, and then like take Peter Butt out of the conversation. It doesn't really. There's no competition to be had.
What are you guys gonna say if NA goes 3 in a row?
But if it's Peter Butt, then I don't care.
Yeah. Okay. I'm willing to put some money down right now.
All right, go on.
Like if anyone from NA wins that's not Peterbot, then fair play. Like NA's better. Like I don't know.
You'll retire the debate forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or for at least 40 years until the next one.
It's just impossible.
I mean, you say it's impossible, man, but who knows? Who knows what happens?
Maybe Poyo pulls it out with Acorn and Ages, you know?
If they go back, yeah. I mean, if Poyo was to win globals without Pete, that would be crazy. I can't lie.
And that would be
that'd be very, very crazy. All right. I know obviously we've talked about some good stuff. But there is also bad stuff to talk about. So I have a tough question for you here, and feel free to dodge completely or just move it on, however you like. You're starting to build up a reputation. And I don't know if you're aware of the reputation you're starting to build up. You are building up the reputation of a Grim Reaper of sorts. Now, you've had some great teammates in the past, and you've had great success with your teammates in the past. But it's notable that after you finished playing with Hen back in the day, you struggled to find some good teams after that. And of course, we all know the amazing Thomas HD this season, he struggled to find some good teammates. Is Queasy the Grim Reaper? Does Queasy suck the life out of his amazing teammates and then use that new energy to go and continue winning? Is that what's happening here? Because that's what's been happening. So I want to get your perspective. I've just been listening to the street. That's what the streets have been saying. So I just wanted to bring it up here openly.
Okay, like, I mean, I don't wanna be like sound like a self-glazer, you know, but
it's too late for that.
I mean, thing is, like, every single person I've played with, I don't think I could ask for better teammates at the moment, like, ever. But I do think that I could literally pick up anyone and get him, like, first on Kinch leaderboards, like, stats-wise. I literally think I could pick up absolutely, well, not anyone, but, like, anyone in the tier 2, like, tier 2 and above. If I pick them up, I think, like, I'm a contender to win with them, and I'm a contender to, like, make them look great, you know?
Right.
And those players are like, for an example, like I don't think anyone could have done what Thomas did at Globals, you know?
Right.
And I think the only reason Thomas has no teammates right now is because first of all, he didn't qualify. He played with Trippin and Fidoxy, which was like that was kind of his mistake, you know?
Yeah.
And then second season, everyone's kind of locked in. At least all the good teams that he deserves to play with, they're all locked in like with each other. So he's only got those like under options right now, and like shit just happens. Like I don't know. And obviously he still wants to win, so he doesn't want to settle for less, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. And for Hen, I think Hen just kind of stopped grinding. Like he stopped. I think if Hen put in the time, which he's saying he's putting in now,
He's been back
he
on the
could still
grind.
be. Yeah. He's been getting some money. He's been showing off. But yeah.
Okay. He dispels the rumors there. Stop talking, streets.
What do you think the secret is to making your teammate perform at their best level to set them up to do like be the leader in damage and absolutely cook like a lot of your teammates have in the past?
I mean, setting them up with the guns, the mats, the shields, and like everything else, you know. Like, if my fragger can get cap mats and loot fast off spawn, and then just follow me for the rest of the game, and then just go crazy in end game, that's all I really need. Like that's literally what all that is happening right now. I'm literally just versus Swizzy looting Seaport, looting everything, and then they're just gonna go get Surge, and I'll stay, and I'm just gonna loot, get them cap mats, get them everything they need, and then they're just gonna follow me on the rotate, get some more damage, shoot people, you know. And then in endgame, I'll just say go kill people, and then they go kill people, and that's it, you know.
Yeah. It's funny, last season there was like a stat on the broadcast where it was like Queasy's farmed 50% of the team's brick, and people going, damn, like he's that's crazy. He's doing so much fun. It's like, yeah, obviously he's doing that if he's got Swizzy and Moustache there. Like, what? Like, I'd be doing this. I'd farm 90% of the brick if I could. You know what I mean? So like, you know, it makes sense. You understand how to play that role and put your teammates and set them up the best for success.
You should get that T-shirt, Queasy for LAN. You've seen that all bricked up T-shirt.
Yeah, and they get kicked off or what? They probably wouldn't allow it there.
I don't know. Well, to be fair,
nah, they would not allow it.
Mate, Fortnite recently have been doing all of the deal shit that they've been tweeting and all of that. Like, have you seen some of them tweets?
Yeah, I did.
They know what they're doing. I feel like they might let that slide, low key, but who knows? I want to link this to something that you tweeted last season, I believe it was, that I thought was really interesting, and I wanted to talk to you about it the next time we got the chance to speak. And you sort of had a tweet about talking about like new up and coming IGLs and sort of like the lack of that, right? Like it doesn't really feel like we get up and coming IGLs, people who can do that role and do the things you mentioned there you can do for your teammates. What do you sort of think is the reason for the lack of new sort of great IGLs and people who are sort of following in yours and Acorn's footsteps and people like that?
People just get like, they either don't have the confidence to like fully lead and trust their calls, or they all want to be flashy and like be in the center of attention and all that stuff, you know, or they just don't have experience. Like it's all of that. I think when I tweeted that, I think one name that popped up was like Pix, and like they were all saying he is underrated and stuff like that. But like you don't see the stuff that IGOs do, so we don't even know until he like builds some sort of legacy and like his teammates go like, oh my god, like this guy is the GOAT, you know, like I think we'll never really know. So I don't know. I think it's a completely different role. Like let's say a fragger, like you have a Shark, that kid is an XP bot, like literally, like he's insane. Everyone can see that. But if you have someone IGLing and like telling other people what to do, and like that doesn't get the spotlight, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, there might be a few, but it's just so much rare because all the kids nowadays just want to be flashy and quick and.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because I think a big part of why we don't see that is because we don't see as many like surprise wins, where like even for you to start getting like your respect in the whole Fortnite community as an IGL, you had to win with Trillex and Juriki, right? And like people, what probably helped more. Shout out to Juriki, I love Juriki. He was in London recently, so shout out to Juriki. What probably helped more is that people looked at Juriki and were like, "This isn't a player who should be winning an FNCS," but Queasy and Trillex were able to elevate him to that. You know, they were able to elevate them to that.
His org even said that.
Right?
Yeah.
Bloody hell!
That was crazy.
Can't believe that was real. So do you think like, but now it's so much harder, I feel like, for those teams to win because the level is so high, the level's so advanced, like people at the top are so far ahead. Like the chances of one of those surprise teams, a surprise IGL, an up and coming IGL who genuinely might be really good, but he doesn't necessarily have the talent with him to actually get the result that gets him that respect amongst everybody. Like you got to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it was harder, but like, I think in the moment, like, it doesn't change. Like people saying the game before was easier, now it's harder. That's true, but like these people have been playing the game for like the same amount of time, you know?
Yeah.
Like they should, even if they're upcoming, they should have learned from like before. That's just a skill gap then. Like same thing with let's say chapter 2 when it happened. Like chapter 1, I didn't place at all. I was struggling World Cup. I mean, to be fair, I had pretty bad PCs and stuff, but like first thing that I went to chapter 2 squads when I had a good PC, I dudded. I dudded the squads. Then duo started. I played like the entire season. I played every cup, everything, and then I got second in my first grands, and that was like Aqua and Stompy dominating height, you know, and like all that stuff. Like when you look back then, you say, "Oh, this was a hard season." Like you know, they got Mythic Minigun. Like you got so many good teams. Same stuff now though. Like if you've been competing for a longer time and learning, I feel like it shouldn't be unless the only thing that is really holding you back is your teammates. I don't see the point of that being a problem. You know, where I think like the Pix Demush and Darm thing is like I think they're all on par with each other and they're performing like what did they even get in grands 5th?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that is crazy.
It's the record for a new team playing in all 3 of them in their first trio grands.
Was it first trio grands?
Yeah, all of them are playing in their first grands, and it's the record for trios. Yeah,
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like that they could have won if they played better, a little bit better, you know. And they had no experience. That was their first grands.
What would you say to a player? Because you were in IGL the whole time, right?
Mm-hmm.
You started.
Yeah.
What would you say to a player who has the alternative approach? Maybe it's like Vino, which is I'm going to get really good mechanically. I'll play with a great IGL, and then I'll convert to the role later in my career. Like, how viable of a path is that versus what you did and Rise and Acorn and some of these top IGLs who just started IGLing and IGL'd the whole way through?
I mean, it's viable because like obviously he won, but it's like everyone has like a different play style. Like my play style is very like safe. Like nothing can really go wrong in my play style. But I feel like his play style nowadays as an IGO is kind of risky. That's why he like started a few games in grands. I feel like it's like his play style is more like I'm either gonna win this game or I'm gonna get like low points, you know, and struggle the game. Where mine is like I'm gonna make sure that I have a perfect mid game, and then in end game I'm gonna pick either if I'm gonna get like a decent game or I'm gonna win the game, you know. So I feel like it's viable. You just gotta figure out your own play style, and your teammates need to fit that same play style as well, you know.
No.
When you go into a grand finals, like or a LAN, like the top cream of the crop lobbies, and you know you're going to get all the best teams, and they're going to be doing crazy stuff. What's your preparation approach versus how much do you try to flow state in the tournament itself and figure things out on the fly? Like, what's the kind of percentage breakdown, and what do you think are important areas to prepare in?
Depends, because I feel like EU FNCS you can prepare a lot. You can prepare a lot. Obviously, there has to be stuff that you have to go with the flow in the moment. But globals, like when global comes, it's full freestyle. Like there's no preparation for that. I've tried to prepare last one and the one before that. Invitational was the only one that I didn't prepare because me and Venno were so good back then that we didn't even need to do anything. We were literally so like we were just shooting people and rotating like it was and playing height. That's it. But last two that I prepared, Kinjutsu one was like roughest zones ever. Preparation did nothing because everyone was doing the most random like stuff on the map. And then last one was like I prepared so much, and then I'm rotating first game, and I'm like, well, this surge base isn't here. That one is over there. This is like over there. Like you don't know what is happening, and you have to be like, you have to go and like figure stuff that works. Like first game, we were gonna go like fully deep, like lavish side, and then we realized there's no risky real surge base. Let's just take that, and then we take that surge base, and it works.
Yeah.
So I feel like globals is like everyone from different regions does like different stuff, and you don't know what they're gonna do, and they're all preparing for to counter the other team. So when that happens, it all just goes wrong, and you just have to freestyle it in the moment.
Yeah, makes sense. I thought you were gonna ask a follow-up.
No.
You look like you wanted
I was just gonna say, but you probably have like an insanely good intuition for the game and for these lobbies now versus maybe newer players, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think I can like kind of read the game pretty easy, where people are supposed to be, what they're gonna do, like where they're gonna rotate and like stuff like that. So I just think I'm smarter than everyone else basically, but like that's like the one thing that goes for me that I try to like play off of, you know?
Yeah. Do you think you can sort of keep your momentum and your energy levels, your grind levels consistent throughout? Because I know last year, whenever we spoke, that was always like the thing people would say. It's like, oh, are you going to be grinding this season? Are you feeling this season in that sense? Like, obviously, you're now a player who you're going to be 23 soon. So I know you called me Unk on my birthday, but you're going to be an Unk with me in like a couple weeks' time.
A month, yeah.
In a month's time, you're going to be an Unk with me. Like, do you, at this stage in your life and in your career, for this to be something you continue to not get overtaken by all these young, crazy, cracked kids, understanding how to manage your momentum and your motivation is like super important. Do you feel like you have a better grasp on that now?
I mean, I feel like I'm just gonna compete as much as I want. I feel like it won't stop me. Like as long as I want to compete, I'll compete. But when I do want to quit, like I'll quit. And I don't know when that will be because I every year so far I've said like 1 more year, 1 more year.
Yeah,
I got 1 more year in me, you know. But
yeah,
then like globals comes and I'm like I'm still the shit. Like I'm still the goat. Like I cannot
yeah.
go. And so I don't know. I'll see after this globals like how it goes and stuff. But I think, like I said before as well, with the IGL new IGLs not coming up, I think I'll always be smarter than most of the people. So I'll always be able to find like two young goats to carry me, and then I'll carry them in grands. You know.
And get the job done that way. I like that.
Exactly.
I like that. All right. I know we ain't got our regular podcast set up today, so we ain't got the usual bells and whistles. However, I still do want to play 2 games with you today.
Hmm.
And they're games where you're gonna have to do a bit of ranking, a bit of rating,
Okay.
if you're all right with that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, of course. You know me.
we mentioned obviously your 2 teammates this season. Teddy asked you some great questions about playing with them, and I think a lot of people would agree that you got 2 of the best fraggers in the world, right? And in terms of that sort of partnership between the 2 of them, it's unbelievable. But I want to see your thoughts in terms of where you rank them as a partnership compared to some of the other top partnerships we have in the world of Fortnite. So I'm gonna say a name of a fragging partnership, and you basically need to tell me if you would take those guys versus Swizzy and Mustache, essentially. Sound good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll start off light, somewhat lightish. A newer or a newer partnership, 2, up and coming younger crazy players. Chap and Shark. Swizzy and Mustache versus Chap and Shark.
I'm taking Swizzy and Mustache, obviously, but I'd like to play a cup with Shark.
Yeah.
I'd like to experience that. I don't really rate Chap that highly, but he is a good fragger. But yeah, I'm picking Swizzy Mustache over that just because of fragging ability and the experience. I do think Shark probably has more fragging ability, but
Like as an
the other one I don't.
individual.
Yeah, as an individual.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Pixie and Marius versus Swizzy
Swizzy
and
Mustache.
Mustache. That one's easier for you. No questions there. Okay. All right. Well, this is multi-regional. So, Badil and Krupa versus Swizzy and Mustache. Just doesn't even, I couldn't even get the words out there. Bloody hell. Okay. Obviously, a team that you talked about incredibly highly on this here podcast, Clicks and Batman Booga, or Higgs. Clicks and Higgs versus Swizzy and Mustache.
Still.
Interesting.
Like it just like I rated like Clicks and Higgs are insane, but like they're just mid ground players.
Right.
I want to play with the high ground players, you know?
Do you think Swizzy and Mustache have like good? Obviously, they're two crazy players, right? Nobody's questioning that. But the synergy of a fragging partnership, do you think they have the right levels of synergy? Do you think they work well together, better than everyone else?
They just switch up the language in their fragging. Like I'm just like I think they're gonna drop the video on like this divisional cup, but like literally one game they just dropped every game they drop down, they're just speaking Russian. I'm sitting on height like spraying, guys, I'm spraying, and they're just fragging out. So yeah.
Okay, all right. I feel like I know what you're gonna say then, based off your previous answers. Ages and Ritual.
Swizzy and Mustache.
Okay. We're getting to potentially the hard bit now.
What, the last two or what?
Vico
Swizzy and Mustache.
I'm kidding. Easy for you.
Yeah.
So, do you know what my take is on this? Which I want to know your opinion. I think there's a distinction, like a big distinction, that people take for granted between being a good fighter and being a good fragger. And so when I look at Veno, Vico, Flixie as a team, Vico and Flixie are two of the best fighters in the region, easy, and they're both probably better fighters than Veno. If I want someone on my team to frag in a grand finals lobby, I want Veno over both of those two guys. I think Veno's a better fragger. He understands getting kills in stack lobbies and end games better. I think a lot of people would obviously say Vico and Flixie are better fighters than, maybe not obviously, but I think most people probably lean in that way, right? That they're better fighters than
probably say Vico.
Right, especially, more so Vico, right? Especially, with how crazy that guy is as a fighter. But Swizzy and Mustache, better fraggers.
Yeah.
You think that's that makes sense?
Yeah, no, I think they are. I mean, Swizzy was IGLing as well back in the day, so.
He was,
yeah.
Carrying Pootrick's ass. And then the final one. Technically, he's the IGL, but he gets all the kills.
Give me Peter Mod. Come on. Give me Peter
Mod and Cold versus Swizzy and Mustache.
Give me Peter Mod with True Licks. It don't matter. Just give me Peter.
Good. All right. That makes sense. I love how outside of Peterbot, obviously, the person you thought the most about was Shark. That's the most interesting part of that whole exchange.
I mean, that kid is insane though. Like,
yeah,
he is crazy.
All right, makes sense. Okay, that wasn't the only one though, because in the spirit of comparing and ranking, you've obviously played with a lot of people, a lot of great players, but I want to know who your favorite teammate is, or at least who your best teammate is in your opinion. So I'm going to give you a teammate of yours, and I'm going to give you another teammate, and you're just going to have to pick between the two. We're going to do like a king of the hill here, basically, until we get to whoever's the number one, right? So, and you can interpret this how you like, in terms of just best favorite, like whoever, like just
I'll say right now,
heart feels.
I'm like, First of all, if you put Swizzy and Mustache, I'm not ranking them just because I'm still playing with them. And
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I could rank them, but it's not. I've only played so much with these people, you know. So when people ask me to
Okay.
like rank them, I always just rank the people that I'm done playing, or like not done playing with, but that I've played with before, and I'm not playing currently. Because you don't know, maybe Swizzy and Mustache become the best teammates I've ever played in the next 2 seasons, you know.
Right.
Or maybe they don't, you know. So you
Right.
never know.
But at least let's figure out where they
Okay.
are at today
Okay.
in
Okay.
comparison, at least.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm down.
So we'll start off with Trulex, right? Because you playing with Trulex, that's where like the career really. Obviously, you played like Mick the Beast before and stuff like that, right? But like you playing with Trulex was where it all began. So we're gonna keep it in a bit of a throwback in that sense. Trulex versus playing the Trapix when you played with Milan and Trapix back in the day.
Trulex. What the hell?
Yeah. Okay. Trulex versus Hen.
Trulex.
Interesting. Trulex versus Juriki, the two teammates in your first
Trulex.
FNCS win.
Trulex,
Trulex.
even though he milked the second FNCS, it's fine.
There you go. Shout out to Trulex. Trulex versus Anas. You played with Anas in trios a bit with Thomas.
Trulex.
Trulex versus Thomas.
Trulex.
Trulex versus Veno.
Veno.
Okay. Veno versus Mustache.
Veno.
Veno versus.
I mean, you just.
Well, no, because this is I was gonna go in a whole different direction here.
Yeah,
like an old random person just to see.
I mean, I knew my top two since the beginning, though. So
Okay. Well, Veno versus Swizzy.
Veno.
Veno, your favorite teammate of all time. Did you watch the pod last week? Did you see what Veno? We ranked. Well, Veno told us his top 5 teammates of all time.
Nah, I didn't.
You were in there, so.
What was it, number 1 or nah?
You were in there.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. No respect. Nah, that's crazy.
No, but it's not your fault.
Remind me.
It was Clicks because Clicks got him a Rolex, so you can't really beat that, you know.
Well, you could get him a Rolex, a nicer Rolex.
I mean, a 6 out of 10 is cool, but is it a Rolex? Like, it's not, you know, it's not a Rolex.
Bro.
Yeah, no,
Fair enough, man.
It's fine.
That's realistic, you know. Like,
true.
It's fine.
That's true. It lets you know deep down how you think. It's materialistic.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right. Teddy, I don't know if you have anything else, but it's I've gotten everything out for now, at least for me.
No, but the one thing is Queasy was the first big pro to subscribe to the Clutch Up YouTube channel.
Really?
But he didn't like our top 10 trios video. He left a comment, but that's all good.
And that was kind of crazy. Like,
Queasy doesn't like a lot of things, though, and he makes it known.
Yeah,
he does show a lot of love.
I just have to say, like, people are wrong sometimes, but it's fine. People make mistakes, you know?
Yeah. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Actually, you just reminded me of.
Needs that.
You reminded me of something that's so important. Sorry. Recently, you've been getting rage baited a fair amount with people camping your card. Will the tweets continue?
My teammates already told me you need to delete your Twitter. I was like, hell no, I don't give a fuck. They camp. I don't care. I'm gonna crash out and show them their bums. Like, it don't matter.
Why are you so angry that people are camping the card?
Because it's bums camping my cards.
Yeah, but
fucking AEN hasn't played the game. Like, he's played the game for 6 years and like he's just doing shit. And he's camping the fuck. Like, in eval,
are valid. They're like valid camping the card.
They're not valid camps. It's 1 point in eval cup. And he's saying like, "Oh, we're scared of you. I got too much fucking aura or what? Like, why they camp my? Like, I'm supposed to grab 2 cars and go into storm and reboot and get loot, and they're scared. They're like, you're in the lobby. I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I'm gonna walk out with 2 great guns. Same with Trippern. Like, he camped 1. It wasn't even 2 cars. It was 1 card. It was 1 card in storm when there's a van. There's like the mythic van is riding around close to them, and we're watching them. and like you're just sitting on the card. The van is right there. Go get your mythic. Go get your mythic chug jug. Go get your van. Drive it off way. Like go away. You're in storm. You're tanking storm. They had a gray tack and a plasma laser gun, and they're sitting on a card in storm. How is that valid?
Right. I think your teammates are right. I think you should delete Twitter. I think you should delete Twitter. I'm fully behind that movement. Queasy, a pleasure.
And I got in their head, by the way. First of all, that got in their head. They didn't call.
There you go. A pleasure to have you as always, brother. Go win globals for us, lad.
I'll try.
Go do the job. Appreciate you.
Get hyped, don't die. Get hyped.
Get hyped, don't die. Exactly. And make some t-shirts so I can rock a Get Hyped, Don't Die t-shirt at globals.
I'd buy that.
Yeah, 100%.
Should I actually make merch?
Oh, I told you straight after global that you should have 100% made some merch of that. 100% you should have. That would have been crazy good. You got time though. You got time to sort it out. Appreciate you, brother, as always, for joining us, and we'll see you on the show another time.
Thank you guys for having me.
Legend.